mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, and today I'm here to talk about episode 7 of Apple TV's Sugar, entitled The Friends You Keep. You guys know, as much as I've enjoyed this show, I was concerned about this episode coming in. Matter of fact, I'm concerned about these last two in general coming in. You know, I've seen a lot of displeasure online with the reveal last week, and I'm gonna offer up a brief editorial within an editorial, because these videos that I do, they are for all intents and purposes editorials. But I'm going to offer up an editorial within an editorial briefly right here. I think people are responding to the reveal last week how they think they're supposed to respond rather than how they actually feel. Like, oh, I'll look like a super smart film critic if I say I was turned off by a hokey alien reveal in a serious detective series. And yeah, like, when you frame it like that, it sounds bad. But that just sounds, to me, that sounded like brains on autopilot to me. Like, I've heard other smart film critics say the same thing, so I'll appear equally as smart if I say it too. And it's like, I think this show has been excellent. And at no point did that reveal or anything leading up to it feel corny, hokey, or even out of place. The show felt no less serious to me. And I think they handled something that sounds incredibly stupid on paper in the best possible way to produce something that at no point made me roll my eyes or think this is dumb. And I think a lot of other people, again, like brain on autopilot, if it was being utilized at all, just gave the generic default, I want to sound like a smart critic response. And having said that, my concern was with how the show would proceed moving forward. Is he gonna be like an alien cop now? Like, I don't think that's gonna be it. But like, you did a great job of getting me here. But now that we're here, is it gonna become stupid? and to speak on the episode directly, I don't think it did. But it did. I did have some issues with this episode, and it's not so much the episode itself. It's less about issues with the episode and more about what I think it says about the series as a whole, both what's preceded it and what could come forward. But nothing happened in this episode that turns me off from the show at any point. It just it's things that increased my cause for concern. It just kind of just kicked them down the can to the finale. Like, I was concerned about the last two, not overly concerned about the last one. I still enjoyed this episode, and again, they packed a shit ton of activity and information into a fairly abbreviated runtime. I think it was, again, late 30s and minutes in runtime, but I'm not singing high praises this week as I have been in previous ones. Hey everybody, I just want to take a small break from this review to talk about the various other ways you can engage with me on other platforms. If you're so inclined, and I understand why you wouldn't, I am an acquired taste, but you can join the Patreon where you can get extra content like retro reviews, where I review old shows and movies to see if they still hold up today, Mike's Musings, where I talk about shows I'm watching that I don't cover on the channel, or Mike's VOD, where you can commission me to watch a show, which I will then review on the channel. And if you want to engage with me and chat with me more directly, I also implore you to join the Discord and follow the Facebook page. I set up channels in the Discord for all of us to discuss the shows I'm reviewing on the channel, and I also drop new videos in there since it's the easiest platform for me to share to from my phone. The Facebook can be really fun because I sort of live comment on shows I'm watching, often while under the influence, I'm not going to lie. And I'll also share news there, both about television and film and about myself as well. So if you like my content, you want to be more engaged, you think I'm charming, or you simply want to show support, feel free to sign up for the Patreon or join the Discord or Facebook today. Links to all platforms are in every video description. Remember to share all my shit to your respective social media platforms. And now back to this review. So we open the episode learning that Ruby's typewriter isn't just any old standard typewriter, it's just alien space typewriter. And she gets some sort of directive from it that her and Miller, the guy that we saw, I think it was episode 4, her and him see it, and she just tells him, like, hey, please don't hurt. She says, please don't hurt him. I think we were meant to deduce that it was John, and it was. At the time, we didn't know what the directive was or why she asked him not to hurt John, or even for sure that she was talking about John at that time, but she just says him. We later learned that the directive is that they're all to come home. As in, they're all, the whole little group that we saw at Ruby's house, the group that I presumed was a whole alien group. I was right about that. They're all coming home, and John is essentially to be told that and retrieved. And here's where the first instance of my biggest issue with this episode comes in. I can appreciate that the show wanted to give us a really good high tension moment where Miller is presumably coming to harm or even kill John. Even set it up with Ruby asking him not to do it, like, please don't harm him. But then we later find out that Miller merely wanted to tell him that they were going home. So now I'm looking at that previous scene, the really exciting motel room scene between Miller and John and Melanie. And I'm like, what was with all the kicking in the fucking doors and choking them and lifting them up with one hand off the ground and all that shit if you just wanted to fucking talk to him? And then why, when John referred to Miller as a friend, but then why did he refer to him as a friend, but then also say that he saw him as a threat, or then behave as if he was a threat? So John considers him a friend, and Miller is only there to tell him they're going home. So why did John treat him as a threat, and why did Miller behave as one? Like that's weird, but they wanted a cool scene, and that's why they did that. And that's fine. It was a cool scene. I just don't like learning something later, in this case, that Miller truly only wanted to talk, that makes something that previously felt important, like their fight sequence, feel less important in retrospect. I didn't like that. Now apply that logic to the season as a whole. It feels like the show possibly just became about politicians finding out aliens were here and his son kidnapping Olivia to blackmail the aliens. And everything that preceded this moment, the end of this episode, Olivia's kidnapped. Her dad barely seems to care. Her half-brother barely seems to care. Her half-brother is sexually assaulting women and she found out about it and he told Stallings. Stallings is trafficking women. He has Olivia's necklace in a box by his basement door. Melanie seems to be secretly in cahoots with Bernie. What's that all about? All of that feels a lot less relevant now, if not entirely irrelevant. And I feel like there's a strong possibility that the entire finale is going to be focused on the senator who knows that they exist and them escaping the planet. And that could be a perfectly fine and even exhilarating finale, but if all that other shit, all those things that I just mentioned a moment ago isn't tied together or tied in and it feels left and ignored and unanswered, and I end up feeling like the Olivia storyline by and large didn't matter, I'm going to be pissed. And those people who are shitting on the show right now are really going to be able to talk shit. Like, do you guys feel me on that? Like, I want to know why Melanie and Bernie seem to be cool. Like, I want to know why Olivia's necklace was in that box at Stallings' house. Are we going to be looking at something really fucking basic? Like, we found out aliens are here and we want to blackmail them, so take that one, girl. Like, and then now all the evidence that we've spent the whole season trying to piece together in the Olivia case is irrelevant because it's nowhere near that deep. Like, I really don't want that to happen, and that is a big worry for me heading into the finale. And yeah, I said last week that I don't know if it's possible this show could do anything to fall out of my top 10, but goddamn it, that would do it. Like, if I felt like all the stuff that I have richly enjoyed for 7 out of 7 episodes of this show was just a red herring to distract me from some alien shit, and it ultimately didn't matter and wasn't even authentic, yeah, I'm gonna be like, fuck this show after that. It will be one of those shows where I'll be like, yeah, it was dope as fuck for 7 episodes, and the finale was so bad that it ruined everything that preceded it, and thumbs down on the whole series. Like, that's how pissed I'd be if the Olivia shit and all of those questions that and I'm not saying all those questions need to be answered, by the way. That long list of things, what about this? What about that? I don't need all that to be answered in the finale, but I need to feel like it wasn't just bullshit. Like, answer some of that shit, save some stuff for a season 2, and we're good. We're good. But like, if I feel like that was all a distraction from fucking this senator's kid and alien blackmail, and now I gotta watch them fly away in a spaceship, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. But having said that, I don't think that's where we're necessarily going to end up. It's just what I'm worried about. Like, we could still have a finale that ties in all of that, not even all of it, a lot of that major shit together and still leave some mysteries for another season. And that's what I'm hoping for. And honestly, that's what I'm expecting. I am expecting that. You don't give me 7 episodes and then I'm not going to sit here and expect a piece of shit finale. I'm expecting the finale to be on par with the previous 7 episodes. All I'm saying is that based on some of the stuff I saw in this episode, I'm a little concerned that the Olivia stuff and all of that is going to become not necessarily moot, but it's not going to be connected like we all thought it was going to be, or at least like I thought it was going to be. But all those concerns I expressed are merely concerns. The show's still good to me, and I enjoyed this episode. I just see the potential for them to undermine everything they've done so far, and I think that'd be a big mistake. So I'm really invested in the Olivia mystery, as I'm sure you guys are. We don't want to feel like we've been gathering all these clues all this time, only to find out that they weren't clues and that the reality was something much simpler. But I don't have a ton more to say about the episode. Like that was like the big thing that I wanted to discuss for this video. I have barely talked about the episode to this point, at least in detail. I mean, everything that I've talked about, you guys who watched the episode know how that feeds into what I'm saying. But I do want to discuss a few things before I wrap up. So Melanie has been observing a lot of what's taken place the last 24 hours for John. And she has clearly has a lot of questions for John. It started with, what the fuck, John? But I love that scene on the roof of whatever that parking garage is where they were sitting in the car. And he's like, yeah, me and my homies, we all got day jobs and shit. We're part of a group. I can't tell you about it. It's super secret. I want to tell you, but I can't because it's dangerous for everybody. And Melanie's like, you're a foreign spy, aren't you? And you can see John's eyes light up like, yeah, I am a foreign spy, but don't tell anybody. Like, it's like, I love that scene because it's like, yeah, it's true. He is a foreign spy. He just left off the little tiny little piece about just how foreign. I thought that was fun though. The last thing I want to talk about real quick is a concept that Henry brings up toward the end of the episode. He asked John about the people he killed and if he truly felt that it was necessary. When I say the people he killed, the people at Stallings' house at the end of the last episode. Stallings, the woman, and that one other guy. John says the first two were in self-defense, which they were. He was telling the truth. But the third, which was Stallings, he describes in a way that I thought was really cool. He's like, he said he had all these reservations. He had all these questions, whether or not he should or he shouldn't do that. And then he says, right before he pulled the trigger, all that went away. And he killed him just because he fucking felt like it. He didn't say it that way, but you know. But I thought that was a good point for that character, because think about where we saw him with my man with the dog at the beginning, and what I was saying, like how kind he is, and Henry says he thinks that the longer they stay there, the more they become human, and we've seen that now. We've seen a guy who was willing to fly this homeless guy out to where was his family, in Minnesota or some shit, willing to fly this guy's family out to Minnesota, just a random homeless guy that he saw on the street, to now he killed Stallings because he wanted to. And I just thought that was a really cool way of honestly explaining a concept that's been, I won't say overexplored, but it's not unexplored. Exploring the nature of humanity and how destructive we can be and how shitty humans can corrupt even the most pure individual. Like, this is definitely a creative way to showcase that concept, and I appreciate that. But if that's where we end up, and that's what the point of the show is, I'm probably not going to be too happy with the compelling detective backstory that I enjoy being used as a distraction and becoming irrelevant to showcase the not overdone, but not undone concept like humans are shitty. So I feel like that's where we're gonna end up here. Like, humans are shitty. I'm like, man, we a whole cool detective story and all that shit just to end up here. But that's all I got. That's all I got for this episode. Like I said, I did still enjoy the episode, but I really want to talk to you guys about the reservations it gave me going into the finale and why. So I didn't go scene by scene, but I mean, you guys saw it. I did cover the important things that we learned. We have the finale next week, and despite my trepidation, I'm really excited for it. Because, again, I enjoyed this episode. I've enjoyed this season quite a bit. And right now, this show is still firmly in my top 10. It's one of my 3 favorite shows right now. But, man, they've left themselves open for a tragic fall. I hope it doesn't happen, but we'll see next week. Let me know what you thought about this comments. Let me know what you thought about this video and my thoughts, my trepidation. Let me know what you think in the comments or in the Discord or on Facebook. And until next week and the finale, peace.